The Russian Ministry of Defense has reported that since the beginning of 2024, more than 100,000 people have already been enrolled to the military service under contract. According to the sources of the Verstka media, the Kremlin plans to send up to 300,000 new soldiers to the army in the near future. The Russian authorities themselves denied this information. According to analysts at the American Institute of the Study of War, Moscow is using this disinformation campaign against Ukraine as an excuse for another wave of mobilization. Putin stubbornly insists on some kind of Ukrainian trace in the terrorist attack in Moscow, although apart from him, no one in the world seriously considers this version, and the Islamic terrorist organization has already stated several times that it takes responsibility for the attack.
Most applicants indicated that their main motive for signing a military contract was to avenge the victims of the Crocus attack. Kremlin officials and mouthpieces have consistently attempted to falsely implicate Ukraine in the Crocus attack, from a report by the Institute for the Study of War.
The Ukrainian president also announced the Kremlin's plan to mobilize 300,000 Russians by early summer.
I can say that Russia is preparing the mobilization of 300,000 additional troops. We all clearly understand that for Putin, the aggression against Ukraine and against Ukrainians is only the beginning, and he has to lose here.
The actions of local officials also testify to the fact that the Russian Federation is trying to compensate for its losses in the war against Ukraine by all means possible. On April 2nd, the governor of Rostov announced that the region had increased the amount of one-time payment for signing a contract with the Ministry of Defense to 700,000 rubles. The governor of Krasnodar region now promises 1 million rubles to each new contract soldier.
The 93.ru media notes that since the beginning of the year, this is the third time that the Kuban authorities have raised the amount of a one-time payment for those who sign a contract with the Russian Ministry of Defense. At the end of January, they increased the amount of payment from 200,000 to 300,000 rubles, and in mid-February raised the payment to 500,000 rubles from the publication in Meduza.
The Russian Ministry of Defense signs contracts not only with convicted citizens, but also with foreigners accused of criminal offenses. The ranks of the aggressor's army have been replenished by U.S. citizen Wilmer Puello-Mota, who fled his country 2 days before the trial, flew to Istanbul, and from there he presumably traveled to Russia. He is charged under several articles at once.
The contractor turned out to be a former member of the City Council of Holyoke, Massachusetts, Wilmer Puello-Mota, the agency's analysis shows. In January, Puello-Mota fled the court in the United States, where he was accused of possession of child pornography, forgery of documents, and obstruction of the judicial system, the U.S. media reported, from the publication in Agency on Telegram.
On April 1st, spring conscription began in Russia. By April 15th, they plan to send a record number of conscripts to the army, 150,000 people. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Larisa Zubenko, UATV News.